What if I told you the Red Sox have too many pitchers? Yeah, you heard that right. Too many good arms. And while that sounds like a champagne problem, it is about to create one heck of a roster headache. But here's the twist. While the pitching staff is overflowing with talent, there is one player who might be packing his bags faster than you can say Fenway Frank. Masataka Yoshida, the $90 million man, could be gone before spring training even starts. Stick around because we are diving into the pitching surplus that has got Alex Cora sweating over lineups, and Yoshida's uncertain future that has got Red Sox Nation divided. But first, quick favor, if you are loving this content, smash that subscribe button. Over 92% of you watch without subscribing. It costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, and means the world to us here at Red Sox Today. Did you hit it? Awesome. Thanks so much. Now back to the drama. Picture this. It is February, spring training in Fort Myers, and Alex Cora is standing on the mound with a clipboard, staring at a rotation that looks like an all-star game roster. Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford, Brian Bello, Lucas Giolito, and the wild card, Patrick Sandoval. That is 5 starters, folks. 5 legitimate major league arms competing for spots. And here is where it gets spicy, somebody's getting squeezed out. Imagine being one of these guys, showing up to camp thinking you have got a rotation spot locked down, only to realize you might be headed to the bullpen or worse, AAA. It is like showing up to Thanksgiving dinner and finding out there are only 4 chairs at the table. Somebody's eating on the couch and nobody wants to be that guy. Now, let's talk about Patrick Sandoval for a second. This dude signed a 2-year deal worth $18.25 million, and he is coming off Tommy John surgery. The Red Sox brought him in thinking he would slot into the rotation, but here is the kicker, he might not even be ready for opening day. So what do you do with a guy making that kind of money who cannot start the season? You get creative. Word on the street is that the Red Sox are considering using Sandoval out of the bullpen when he is ready. Yeah, you heard that right. A starting pitcher making $9 million a year could end up as a setup man. It is like buying a sports car and using it to haul groceries. But here is the thing, it might actually work. Sandoval's got a nasty slider and a fastball that sits in the mid-90s. Put him in high-leverage situations, and he could be a weapon. Plus, it solves the rotation logjam without sending anyone to the minors. Genius move or desperation play? You decide. But while the pitching staff is playing musical chairs, there is another story brewing that has got Red Sox fans checking Twitter every 5 minutes. Masataka Yoshida, the Japanese slugger who signed a 5-year, $90 million deal back in 2023, might be on the trading block. And before you say, wait, did not we just sign this guy? Yeah, we did. But here is the problem. Yoshida's role with the team is about as clear as mud. He is a designated hitter in a league where designated hitters need to rake. And while Yoshida's bat is not terrible, it is not exactly setting the world on fire either. Last season, he hit .280 with 10 home runs. Respectable? Sure. Worth $18 million a year? That is the million-dollar question. Or I guess the $90 million question. Here is where it gets messy. The Red Sox have a crowded outfield and designated hitter situation. You have got Rafael Devers, who needs days off from third base. You have got Tyler O'Neill, who could slide into the designated hitter spot when he is not patrolling right field. And then there is Tristan Casas at first base, who might need the occasional designated hitter day to keep his legs fresh. So where does Yoshida fit? The answer is he does not. Not comfortably, anyway. It is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole while everyone's watching and judging your carpentry skills. The Red Sox signed Yoshida thinking he would be this middle-of-the-order masher, but instead, he has become a $90 million roster Tetris piece that nobody knows what to do with. And here is the kicker, trading Yoshida is not going to be easy. That contract is an albatross. No team wants to take on that kind of money for a designated hitter who is good, not great. The Red Sox might have to eat a chunk of that salary just to move him. And if they do that, ownership is going to have some explaining to do. But let's circle back to the pitching situation, because this is where things get interesting. Having too many starting pitchers is actually a good problem to have. How many times have we seen the Red Sox get decimated by injuries? Having depth means when someone goes down, you have got a legitimate replacement ready to go. Lucas Giolito's got a track record. Cutter Crawford showed flashes last season. And Tanner Houck? This dude's got ace potential if he can stay healthy. The Red Sox are stacking talent. And in a division where the Yankees and Orioles are loading up, you need every advantage you can get. Now, here is where the plot thickens. Let's say the Red Sox decide to keep all 5 starters. What does that mean for the bullpen? Well, for one, it means you have got options. Imagine having a guy like Patrick Sandoval, who has got starter stuff, coming out of the pen in the 7th inning. That is a nightmare for opposing hitters. You have been facing Tanner Houck all game, and then boom, here comes Sandoval throwing 96 with a slider that breaks off the table. It is like thinking you are done with the final boss in a video game, and then the boss has a second phase. Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. Plus, having starting pitchers in the bullpen gives you flexibility. If someone in the rotation gets hurt, you can just slide the guy back into the starting role. It is roster management 101, and the Red Sox front office is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But back to Yoshida, because this is where Red Sox Nation is split. Some fans say give the guy a chance, he is still adjusting. And they might be right. Yoshida's got a smooth swing, does not strike out much, and has gap-to-gap power. But others argue we are paying $18 million a year for average production. That money could go toward a legitimate ace or power bat. Both sides have a point. Here is the thing, the Red Sox are in a tough spot financially. They are not throwing around $700 million contracts. They have to be smart. Yoshida's contract is taking up payroll that could be used elsewhere. Could they extend Rafael Devers long-term? Sure. Could they sign a frontline starter? Absolutely. But instead, they are paying a designated hitter who is not designated hitting because there is nowhere for him to play. And let's not forget the human element here. Masataka Yoshida is a person. He uprooted his entire life, moved halfway across the world, and signed with the Red Sox thinking he would be a cornerstone of the lineup. Now, less than 2 years later, he is hearing trade rumors and watching his playing time dwindle. That has got to sting. Imagine being told you are not wanted after you have given everything you have got. It is brutal. But this is baseball, and unfortunately, it is a business. A cold, calculating, sometimes heartless business. And when you are not producing at the level your contract demands, you become expendable. That is just the reality. So what is the solution? If you are the Red Sox, you have options. Keep Yoshida and hope he figures it out. Trade him, eat some salary, and use the roster spot better. Or get creative, platoon him, use him as a pinch hitter, maybe trade him to the National League where he could play the field. There are ways to make this work, but none are clean. Meanwhile, Alex Cora's got decisions to make. 5-man rotation with Sandoval in the bullpen? Carry 6 starters? Trade one for a bat? Because the Red Sox offense needs help. But trading a pitcher when you have depth is smart until injuries hit and your rotation falls apart. It is a tightrope walk. And here is where it all comes together. The Red Sox are at a crossroads. They have got more pitching than they know what to do with and a $90 million designated hitter on the bench. Both situations show roster inflexibility. The Red Sox built this team thinking pieces would fit certain roles, and the puzzle does not line up. But here is the silver lining. These problems mean you have talent, options, assets. The worst situation is having no one to choose from. The Red Sox have got arms and bats, they just need to make it work. If they turn this pitching surplus into a dominant rotation and maximize Yoshida's value, then we are talking about a contender. A real October baseball contender. So what happens next? Well, spring training's going to be must-watch TV. Who wins the 5th starter spot? Does Patrick Sandoval embrace a bullpen role or push for the rotation? Does Masataka Yoshida force his way back into the lineup with a hot bat? Or does he get dealt to a team willing to take a chance on his potential? These are the questions keeping Red Sox fans up at night. And honestly, that is what makes baseball beautiful. The uncertainty, the drama, the possibility that everything could go right or spectacularly wrong. Look, at the end of the day, the Red Sox are trying to contend. They are not tanking. They are not rebuilding. They are trying to win now. And that means making tough decisions. It means having uncomfortable conversations. It means sometimes saying goodbye to players you thought would be here for the long haul. But if those decisions lead to a division title, if they lead to a deep playoff run, if they lead to banner number 10 hanging from the Fenway rafters, then it is all worth it. Because that is what this is about. Not contracts, not roster spots, not hurt feelings. It is about winning. And the Red Sox, with all their pitching depth and roster complications, are trying to figure out the formula. Will they get it right? Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, it is going to be one heck of a ride. And we will be here covering every twist, every turn, every trade rumor, and every roster move right here on Red Sox Today. So buckle up, Red Sox Nation. This season is about to get wild.